Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Women's Cave. I think I waited for the red dot. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, yeah, you did. And, I was going to say something, but then I was like, you know what? Let Winona have it. It's Friday.
Yeah, not to mention, I completely messed up on our last interview.
It was really kind of funny. It was really kind of funny.
Oh, good. Oh,
really? You can't just yawn in the middle.
Oh, I cannot believe I did.
Wow.
I've never done that before.
Wow. Woo. So, Winona, I don't even know. I'm Jade.
And I'm Winona.
Apparently, Jade is like the really professional one today, so I will take that. I will take that so much. I guess Winona needs a nap, so we should just move on.
I was like, please don't do banter. I'm gonna be like, and yawn. All
right, fine. So we'll just move on to We Wrote Literary Life Guides with Pop Poetry, aka our books. And here are a few. Y'all, I'm really gonna be emphasizing these Audible books because they're amazing, and Jo Sands does such a great job.
She does.
And literally you can go and just take it on a walk, because we know how we all been stuck inside for a really long time. You can just take it on a walk and listen to it as you go. So, and I thought the books were bad with other life lessons. And I thought being grown up was easy. If only I would meet a memoir in verse. And then Winona has a couple of them.
I have out 2 books of my own on audio. It's Foreign Coffee and Widow's Web.
All right, you can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com, or abbreviated
at www.andithoughtsladies.com.
But y'all aren't here to hear about us. You're here to hear for our wonderful guests.
Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Lynn Dunn, or Lynetra Dunn. I am a avid tea person. I have a tea issue. You can't see my tea stuff because I had technical issues in my office. I am the mom of 2 brilliant adults, young adults. And I was kind of confused as to why Mandy got me into this, but I am open for anything. I can tell you whatever you need to know, but I'll talk about my kids and tea all the time.
Fabulous. And if y'all don't know, then Mandy, you just talked about, is Mandy Hayes, and she is actually on one of our other
podcasts. Yeah,
the earlier one.
On a writing class.
Yeah, so she's on an earlier one, so y'all can check out that interview too. So let's talk tea. What got you into tea?
I have never been. Well, honestly, what started tea was when I was younger, back in the dark ages. When you went to restaurants to and had drinks, you always had to pay for refills for Coke and Sprite and other things like that. But you never had to pay for sweet tea. So I always wanted extra drinks. I started drinking sweet tea as a young person because I wanted more, because it was great. So tea was always my drink of choice. I started drinking hot tea because I never could drink coffee, and I didn't like hot chocolate. And my husband decided that, I would go to the Teavana store and buy tea, and he started buying things for me and realized that I had a tea issue, like teapots and teacups and tea, whatever. And I ran into this company accidentally called Sipology by Steep Tea, and I fell in love with their product. And I started learning more and more about tea, about what types of tea, the different reasons tea, the different, things about tea. And it kind of became something that I just kind of fell into and that I loved.
Wow. So can you tell us a bit about the different types of tea that are out there that can be combined to make one good flavor?
Okay. So that's a good question. Tea, the real tea, the tea leaf, comes from a thing called Camellia sinensis, and it embodies all tea, real tea. So green tea, black tea, oolong tea, white tea, all come from the same tea leaf. It just is different in how you process it. And those teas are all caffeinated, different levels of caffeine, different whatever. And you can flavor them any kind of way that you like, which is what happens with Sipology. Then you run into tea sans, which are not necessarily teas, but, like herbal teas, like mint teas, teas for your stomach and different things like that. Or you can have, if you can't drink caffeine, you know, you can have a herbal tea or you can have a rooibos tea, and rooibos is automatically decaffeinated. So a lot of times people say, well, I have to have decaffeinated tea. I say, you really don't want decaffeinated tea, because what decaffeinated tea is they've taken a tea leaf and run it through the water. They've processed it and then re-dried it out. And then it's, and that's what decaffeinates it, which also takes out the flavor. Same for coffee. If you want an uncaffeinated tea or a caffeine-free tea, you need to look for a tea like an herbal tea or a rooibos tea that don't have caffeine in them. So
that's very interesting. I mean, I would have never known what they did to decaffeinate tea. I am a herbal tea drinker.
Yeah.
By choice. I just like.
Or is it by choice? Is because whenever you're with me, you have to drink herbal tea?
No, it's literally by choice. Unless we're talking about some iced tea, then get the herbal tea away from me. I need the black tea. Thank you.
I still do herbal ice. So what's your favorite tea?
It changes. It actually changes for the season. In the winter, I usually tend to do like a black tea, and then my favorite is a harvest spice. Mm-hmm. So it's good hot and cold. And in the summer, I do a lighter tea. And green teas used to be, I used to not really like green teas because they tasted like grass. But I found one, and my favorite is called Mojito. And it's kind of got a spearmint and some lemon in it, so it's really light and refreshing, and I like it for the summer. And you can make it into a lemonade. So you can do a lot of different things with tea. And I was like, as I've been doing Sipology by Sleep Tea for a while, I've learned that there are different ways to make your tea. Or if you've ever had a bitter tea, you've burnt the tea, because the timing is necessary. So if it tells you to steep 2 to 3 minutes and you steep it 5 and it tastes like the bottom of a coffee pot, you've burnt your tea. So that was one of the first things that I learned. But you can steep tea in cold water. You can steep tea in juice. You can steep tea in wine. You can steep tea in liquor. So there's all different ways you can do teas. And so it's been very intriguing and interesting how the different ways that you can do teas and make them different flavors and different flavor profiles. So you have to determine what your flavor profile is. And then once you do that, then you can determine what tea you like the best.
Okay, so some people might be wondering why we had a person on talking about tea, right? And we're authors. See, this question is going to answer it. So what is your favorite tea while drinking a book?
While reading a book?
While drinking a book, right?
No,
while reading a book.
No.
While reading a book.
What is your favorite tea while drinking in a book?
Drinking in a book. Usually I read a lot, so it depends. I now don't have a favorite tea when I'm reading a book, because it depends on when I'm reading. So if it's an iced tea, I like a black tea, a flavored black tea, like the harvest spice that I type. If I'm reading at night before I go to bed, I'll do a hot tea, like a rooibos tea, or herbal tea, like a peppy peppermint, which happens to be my son's favorite. He goes through like about 3 bags of those a month. If I let him go through that many, if we buy that many, that's what he'll go through. So it just depends on what your flavor profile is as to what you would like. But I would go for caffeine free at night, because the book is probably going to keep you awake, but you want to be able to go to sleep when you want to go to sleep, or during the day, just a glass of nice cold iced tea, whichever one you like. My favorites are those ones. We also have I forgot to talk about the fruit teas. So we do one of my very favorites is called Berry Mania.
Ooh, that sounds.
And it has elderberry.
Ooh, that sounds absolutely delicious.
Now, and so I have
one more question.
Okay,
I have one more question.
Go for it.
What book are you reading right now?
What book am I reading right now? I'm actually in the middle of a book. Hold on, I have to cheat, y'all. Y'all didn't tell me that, because I read about 2 or 3 at a time. So I'm going to my Kindle. But I just bought the one about, and I thought divorce was easy. That's on my list.
Oh my goodness, thank you!
You're gonna need a caffeinated tea. It's a boring book.
It's not that boring, y'all.
No.
It's not that boring.
I've been through divorce. I'm just intrigued as to what you would say. Hang on just a sec. Dog.
You see, y'all, she just validated me, right? Because I'm always reading at any given time 3 to 7 books.
So the one that I'm listening to right now is called Letters to Molly, and it's by Devney Perry. Nice. And the one that I'm reading, I told you I had to cheat. I
love that she said the one I'm listening to, because I do the same thing. Like, I'm reading one, I'm listening to one, or 2, because it depends on what time of day it is. And then I'm reading another one at night. I love it. I love it.
I am reading another one, and I don't know what it is. Oh, I'm rereading. I know exactly what I'm rereading. It's called Whiskey Sharp, and it's by Lauren Dane.
Ooh,
I love it.
And I am a romance reader, and I love romance, and I've been reading romance since I was a kid, and I like the happily ever after. And an interesting fact about myself is my mama used to. I used to read like Silhouette and Harlequin, and I would just go through them. I'd go through them. And my mom said, well, you never read books by Black authors. And I was like, but Mama, they're depressing, and I don't want to be depressed. There's too much depressing stuff on. And she said, okay, I'm going to buy you a book. And she said, I said, okay. So she bought me a book. It was called Daughters. And in books, y'all, I mean, I don't know why the reason, but on the first page of every book is only half of a story, like half of a page. And that first page, there was somebody that died, somebody was going to jail, somebody got molested. I was like, Dad, I need a drink. I'm not even old enough to drink. Mama, I read romance because I need to be happy. I need to be. And she said, I don't like you. Oh, you just get on my nerves. And so now I've been really, and I have favorite authors that I read all the time, but now I've been trying to kind of go into finding a little bit more authors, expand my horizons, but I still don't want to read about folks' because I don't like urban romance, because that wasn't my life. So I don't want to read about drug dealers and things like that. That's just not my thing. So that's my interesting story.
Interesting, and I love that it had, like, she had a strong reaction on the first page. And this is why we teach a class on writing a great first page, because you pull the person in or you repel them. It doesn't matter. A strong reaction, y'all, is a strong reaction, and that's what you're going for.
May I suggest Free Falling and Loving It? It's a lovely romance. It'll be out on April the 11th.
Okay, plugging her own book. That's hilarious. All right.
No, I do have one question before you go, and because we didn't have my narcissist question in the last interview, so this is my narcissist question: where do I find a good chocolate tea with no caffeine?
Chocolate teas are going to have caffeine because chocolate has caffeine. But we have a lot of chocolate favorite teas. My favorite is a chocolate chai. It's an herbal tea, and it's delicious. And you can drink it cold if you want it hot. But it's called chocolate chai, and it's on sipology.com /Wild About Loose Tea. So plug my own website.
Absolutely.
And then there are probably some others in there, but chocolate teas now will be traces of caffeine. It won't be as much. If you get an herbal tea that has chocolate in it, it's still going to have caffeine because chocolate has caffeine. But if you look for, that's the one that comes to mind most quickly. I don't think, and then any of the other chocolate ones are going to be black teas or pu'er teas, and they have a lot of caffeine. So
interesting. So one more time, can you please give us the website again?
Yes, it's www.sipology.com www.sipology.com/wild about loose tea.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate it.
And you know, now I'm going to go have a cup of tea.
I know, right now I'm ready for a cup of tea. I'm so excited. So I guess I'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Please, Jane.
You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com. While you're there, you can go on the homepage and check out the Ladies Tarot podcast with professional actors reading on their script. But more importantly than all of that, please go to the Ladies tab, go down in the middle, and see the charities that we probably support. Maybe you can support them also. If you want all of this information just in a really condensed form,
you can go to www.andithoughladies.com.
Fabulous. So just remember, y'all wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it.
So peace and love from Winona
and Jade.
I know I had to mix it up there. And I wanted to thank our guests for coming on today. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
And y'all, thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.